I'm David Craig, a board-certified truck accident attorney, and these are the trucking truths. Did you know that Indiana is one of the deadliest states in the union because of truck accidents? According to the federal government who collects this data, we know that Indiana ranks 10th as far as the most deadly state in the country because of truck accidents. That's commercial motor vehicle accidents, buses, heavy trucks, large trucks. Ohio and Illinois are also in the top 10. So 3 of the most deadly states are right here in the areas in which we live and practice. And that makes sense. We know that because my law firm actually has lawyers licensed in Ohio, Illinois, as well as Indiana, as well as other states. And we handle truck accident cases. And we're seeing more and more truck accidents in these 3 states. Now, the federal government's information is kind of old. The data they have is 2023 data. So 2023, that information has been published and been presented throughout the country. And so you can look and see what the statistics are on truck accidents throughout the United States. What we decided here at Craig, Kelley & Faultless, we specialize in truck accident cases, was it would be nice to know on a more regular basis, kind of like what is the trend? Are the numbers going up? Are the numbers going down? Where are the most dangerous places that wrecks occur? What is the most dangerous day? What is the most dangerous time? That's why we created semi-crashmap.com. And you can go on that site and you can look and see what truck wrecks are occurring throughout the state. And you can break it down by cities, states, counties. You can break it down by highways. And that way we have in real time information that may be helpful to you when you're planning a vacation, when you're planning a trip. What's the best day to travel? What's the best time to travel? You need to be aware of the truth. You need to be aware of what areas, what highways, what times, what days are the most dangerous. In 2025, in Indiana, there were over 1,600 semi-truck and commercial motor vehicle accidents. There were over 2,000 people that were injured. And the most dangerous day of the weeks was basically Tuesdays and Thursdays. There was not much difference between the two. The most dangerous time was 4 to 5 p.m. On the other hand, the safest day to be on the roads was Sunday. One of the things that I think is important for people to understand is how often, how frequently truck accidents occur. And oftentimes I get hired because of accidents that happen in construction zones or in wrecks that occurred in adverse weather. By far, those are the 2 situations that seem to cause the most accidents. Anytime traffic has to back up or slow down on the interstates, that become extraordinarily dangerous situations. And so we decided to start tracking that and start looking at that data and trying to give warnings out to people. My goal is to provide you with information that may help you stay safe. It may help you understand truck accidents. I see it every day. I get hired by the families after the fact. I see what's dangerous. I know which highways are dangerous. I make sure I'm not in front of or behind a semi if I can avoid it. Check out our website, semi-crashmaps.com, and see if it's helpful to you. One of the things that I saw in this past year were a lot of cases that I got hired that involved truck accidents on I-70. I mean, I-70 between the Ohio line and Indianapolis, and from Indianapolis to Terre Haute. That area was an area that had some construction going on, and that was certainly part of the reason why we saw so many truck accidents. But this year, in this past year, 2025, we got hired for several truck accidents that occurred on I-70. Now you can go to our website, semi-crashmap.com, and you can see for yourself the number of accidents that occurred on I-70 through the year of 2025. And what we know from looking at that is that there were over 115 accidents on I-70 by itself involving commercial motor vehicles. The worst day to be driving on I-70 last year was Tuesdays and Thursdays. The worst time to be on I-70, sharing I-70 with a semi, was 7 p.m. to midnight. Over 2025, we got hired on several cases on I-65. Now the cases that we got hired on were ones that happen between Indianapolis and Louisville. And year after year, it seems like I get hired on several serious injury cases on I-65 involving fatalities or serious injuries. And I've also been hired on I-65 going north towards Chicago. And so we wanted to take a look at and see, well, guys, how many wrecks were there on I-65? I've talked about in the past the number of wrecks on I-70. We saw a lot of those. But what was shocking was that there was even more wrecks on I-65 than I-70. On I-65, there were over 192 accidents involving commercial motor vehicles in the year 2025. The worst months on I-65 was December and January. Hundreds of people were injured and several people were killed on I-65 in accidents involving semi-tractor trailers and other commercial motor vehicles in 2025. The worst time to be on I-65 in 2025 was between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Did you know that in 2025, there were over 90, almost 100 wrecks involving semi-tractor trailers on I-465, the interstate that just goes around Indianapolis, Indiana? There were several fatalities as well as hundreds of injuries. Last year, 2025, the worst days to be on 465 turned out to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's when most of the wrecks involving semi-tractor trailers occurred. The worst months on I-465 were November and December of 2025. And that makes sense because of the bad weather. Every time we see bad weather, unfortunately, we see semi-tractor trailer wrecks. If you got snow, ice, fog, rain, sleet, and every time we see a tractor trailer wreck, we see serious injuries or unfortunately death. Make sure you give yourself sufficient distance and time. Go slower than the speed limit. Watch out for commercial motor vehicles. Make sure they have room. Make sure you have room. The lesson to be learned, if you're on 465, be careful. And that's the truth.